Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're doing commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican for each verbal club.
Let no dead horse go unbeaten.
Alrighty, alright, I'm here. Good morning, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. It's so good to have you here today. I'm not a camel. I'm the Recovery Addict. Alright. It is good to be here. It's good to be here with Mystic Mama. Oh man. I hate it when my buttons don't work because I forgot to set things up the way I should have. But hold on one second. I'll just pretend this is all working the way it's supposed to. And reconnecting. The music's going to be over before we can do this. Mystic Mama, by the way, was first in chat. I might have to do it manually. It's still loading. So give me just a second. We'll get there. Mystic Mama was first in chat, which I'd like to show everybody. It's right there on my screen. I can see it, but I can't see it over here, which is sort of a prerequisite for you being able to see it right here, right, like here, down here. That's where you see it. So hold tight, Mystic Mama. We're going to recognize you as for the crime you have committed. There we go, and it's there. Bingo. There we go. Mystic Mama comes in. She actually came in, I think, with something other than the hay at the very beginning, but she was also second. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. Wonderful to have you here, Mystic Mama. Thank you very much. It looks like also, if we can catch these here very quickly, Sore Throat comes in with a 3-month membership message. Me and my sleeping pug are off to work today, sent to spend with RA. Thank you, Sore Throat. Mystic Mama, here's your 5-month message. Congratulations to Samantha Terry on her memberversary. Samantha Terry hit her 6-month anniversary, which I think I can't see. D. Robinson, also welcome to the gallery. Good to have you with a blue courthouse by your name. Thank you very much for that. Let's see if I missed a couple others. Let's see, Martha Emery. Hey, I noticed my courthouse changed color. Vice, nice being so moving. I don't know what it means here. Vice being so moving. I think spell check caught us there. I love this group. I think Vice been so busy moving. Something was busy moving.
I was kicked back.
That's all I know, Martha. I get the intent of your message, just not the meaning. That's all. Wonderful. Let's see. We have. I think there were a couple others that probably scrolled off the screen with everyone taking a seat, and I do apologize. Lily, I'm in yellow. Wee. That was awesome, Lily. Ashley says you got rid of the. Did she find out how to find the FBI people? She found out. That was my favorite part. I didn't actually get rid of it. Fun little fact. This is behind the scenes. I triggered those manually.
This is the next search on February 28th, 2020. 7:44 p.m. How does the FBI find people, and people's misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E?
And here's the finish.
Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
Okay, so I triggered those manually. I always, every morning, literally every morning, I have never had the 9 out of 10 judges part be pre-recorded into it. I always have to hit the button, which I'm usually scrambling to do. It's like I'm getting to that part in the song. I'm like, oh, that's my cue. There's a lawsuit in my queue, and so I'm scrambling through the pages to find the right button to push. And sometimes I hit the wrong one. Let's see. Shell's member for 6 months. I'm officially addicted. Thank you, Shells. Yellow looks great on you as well. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see what else we have here. Dallas-born, Boston bred. Thank you, Scott. You're the best at what you do. We love you. Happy hump day. Oh, guess what today is? I tell you what. Before I tell you what today is, we're going to have a little bit of a water pour because I might need it. So we're going to. Here's your warning.
I'm not a camel.
I'm not a camel either, but the water's delicious.
I'm not a cat.
I might be a camel today. This cup seems to have a hole in it. We're going to do one more pour. I've never done a double pour in the morning.
Because he's the guy.
All right, we're going to set this one aside and keep it ready in case I need it. But now, Dallas Born Boston Bred, I can tell you what day it is.
Mike. What day is it, Mike? Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Hump day! Welcome to Wednesday. My watch is telling me I'm in a loud environment. That might be me. Sorry, you guys. Sorry for your ears, for all those who just permanently lost hearing. Read the captions. I'm sorry. I am... No, is this please? I'm sorry. Is that the right sign language? Let's see. Today is the day the tree service comes to cut down 2 trees. That's fun to watch. I made a stop action, like a still frame. What do you call that when you take a time lapse video of some tree companies cutting down some trees that we had that had died, poplar trees. And poplar trees, when they die, they're actually very dangerous because they get very brittle and they just fall over. But I made that a fun little video. It took all day to cut down 3 trees, but they did a great job. Bro, I'm at work. Don't be so loud, says Allie. I think I just outed a couple people to their boss. Let's see. All right, I have to turn down my volume. I have a headache this morning before you yell hump day. Did I give you enough warning? To dive for the volume knob? Let's see. How can I become a member again without doing it from YouTube? Tasia, probably the easiest and least reliable way is just to turn on the gift setting on the channel, and then YouTube may or may not select you as the next recipient of a gift when it becomes available. So that's the easiest way. Other than that, it takes a little bit of work. Let's see. Enable gifts on this channel right there. That Sharon McDonald did this. Let me just say this. First of all, we have an amazing group. We call ourselves Addicts here. We're addicted to true crime. It's an amazing little community here, and what we have and how we treat each other is unlike anything I have seen anywhere else on the internet, which is phenomenal. I would just remind you, because it's been brought home to me from several different people in different messages that have been shared to me, that some of the people we see here in chat that we're just discussing things with are going through some of the hardest days of their lives. Are struggling with challenges that nobody would want to trade places with. It's just difficult, and this for many people is a bright spot and a spot they can come to and get lifted up and cheered up and spend a moment with friends, and sometimes just get a break from the pressures they're facing every day. So before you. And maybe this isn't as much for you as for visitors who come in. Before we sort of poke them with a stick, when we don't like what they're doing, just think that might be them, and what they're offering today, what they come in and share, might be a little bit not right, might be a little off, might be a little bit caustic. That might be the best they can do today, considering what they're going through. So just be mindful of that. We have people in here who have some very difficult challenges, some things that are very personal. We have people in here that have difficult challenges that are affecting family members or pets or you name it. They're all here, and we're all in this together. And maybe today might not be my worst day. It might not be a difficult time for me, but it might be somebody else's. And just be mindful of that when we comment back and forth with each other. That a lot of people are dependent on this to be a relief and an uplifting type moment, and we can say something nice before we say something mean. So my little outro, smile at someone, make their day a little bit better. That let's try to do that today and always every day. And you guys aren't the problem. You guys are the cure. So I'm preaching to the choir here. But thank you, and just for those who've texted me, who have shared. what you're going through. Obviously, we're not going to share all those with everyone, but at the same time, our thoughts are with you, and know that you're your family, and thank you so much for being here. Let's see. D. Robinson gifted a membership. D. Robinson, you just barely upped your membership as well, and then gifted one as well. My eyes are getting sweaty. Sorry, I don't know why that happened. Let's see. One of the best hump day shouts ever, says Maisla. It was the water. It was. I will have to take a drink every Wednesday. Remind me to have a little water before that. Metal detecting addict here, says Philip. That is awesome. Philip, did I see the story out of the New York Times? I don't know who shared this to me. Honestly, I need to go back and look on the burner phone and see who it came from. But is there a metal detecting story out of like Kentucky that should be front page news of the New York Times? Dude found like $700 million worth of Civil War gold. Did you see this? Am I being pranked? This is the holy grail of metal detecting. Dudes out in this field just digging up coin after coin, $20, $1, $5, just gold coins are just pouring out of the ground. And it's been authenticated apparently, and it's worth a fortune. 1830s gold, just unbelievable. Ashley, thank you so much. That is wonderful. Annie says, that's why I'm here. Yes, you guys are amazing. Danny Austin, let's see. Danny Austin just gifted a membership right there. I'm falling behind. I'm sorry. Danny Austin gifted a membership. DSN gifted a membership as well. Those went to Chris Carroll and Queen Swope, respectively. Let's see. Patty Girl, so glad I found this family. Thanks to someone for my upgrade. That's awesome. Good to have you in green as well, Patty. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see where we are. I don't know what the little song was. Let me tell you, I have something completely unrelated, and if I can share this with you guys without you getting offended here. Oh, not offended, but like upset that I'm.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
But I'm talking about something that is not relevant. I saw yesterday in the wild, I think probably for the very first time, an endangered species. No joke. I'm not joking. There's a red wolf that lives in eastern North Carolina, and as we were driving 2 and 15 minutes, like 2.25 hours from our house, which we left late in the afternoon to go to the play that I took my wife and my kids to. That I went to with my wife and the kids. She sort of took me, but I went at the last minute. As we drove there, we saw signs that there were going to be bears on the side of the road, and I think I might have seen one. But we've seen bears before. That's not rare. But there's also a sign when you get to an area where they're like, warning, endangered red wolf in this area. They're basically saying, please don't hit the red wolves. There are very few of them left. They're an endangered species. And on the way back, and coming back, we didn't get back till 1:15, 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. We saw one. We saw a red wolf on the side of the road, which was the coolest thing I've ever seen. That is just awesome. It was so cool. Anyway, we are neither here nor there, and I apologize. I'm not sure why I went there, but now you know what I did yesterday. The play I went to was the Lost Colony, which I believe is the longest running outdoor play in America. I think that's the official ruling, and it's been like 75 years, 85 years. I forget how many years. Franklin Delano Roosevelt went there. Andy Griffith was part of the cast at one point. Amazing history. We're sitting in an outdoor amphitheater with a huge set in front of us. The centerpiece of the set are these big wooden gates to a fort. The Roanoke Island, the Lost Colony, the fort they built is basically what they're trying to represent. Not a red fox, a red wolf. Red wolf. I've seen red foxes all the time, but red wolf. That's what I saw. Anyway, the gates open up and it's just ocean. I think it's actually the sound, but it's open water. It's amazing. They have like fake boats and things as backdrops, and it was really, really cool. The play was absolutely phenomenal. Highly recommend it. And we got to go for free, which was really cool. Somebody called us and said, hey, they're doing educational outreach. We have all these tickets. Some are available. Would you and your family like to go? We said yes. We showed up and ended up not just getting free tickets, but getting backstage pass where they did a little presentation just for us. A lot of it focused on the Indian dances and things that are represented in the play. And then it also included, like, for each person, $10 of free concessions, and then we ended up getting all the extra concession tickets as well. It was like I drank way too much Mountain Dew, but I did not sleep on the ride home, which was important. But anyway, all right, let's see what we're doing today. We have a couple things. First of all, we have our eyes peeled once again onto the Orange County, Florida Orange County Clerk court records out of Orange County, Florida, where we are watching with bated breath for the court to update us with the letter from Sarah Boone, which still has not been posted, to my understanding. I'm looking at this list, and it's just not there yet. They've scanned the notice of hearing, and I went back and I watched the Sarah Boone hearing from yesterday. I've got to say, I just don't think it's going to happen on the 24th. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the one that says this, right? But I do not think that it's going to happen on the 24th because the state still doesn't have their, the defense does not have their report from their expert because they're having trouble getting their expert paid the amount they want to be paid. So if they ever are able to do that, which I assume that at some point they're going to say yes, they'll pay them, and they might negotiate a lower fee or something like that. But if they get that report, then the state has an opportunity, or should have the opportunity to analyze it, find their own expert to find alternative explanations or counter that information. And there's no way they can get all this done before the 24th if they're not even meeting to discuss what to do about it until the 21st. That gives them a weekend to find an expert, get a report, and prepare for court on the 24th, or at least the jury selection. I cannot see it happening. I think, Angie, a few of you said the same things. Let's see. Sammy Grant said, a vacation on the Outer Banks last year and saw the Lost Colony too. It was excellent. Highly recommend it too. It was really, really good. The most amazing part, since we had the behind the scenes access, we were in the theater before they let everyone else in. And so we got to see like the fight calls, what they call it, where the cast is all there out of costume. They're running through things. They show up and they're like, hey, we've had a cast member leave the cast. I don't know what the story is, if they quit or if, health conditions, whatever. But an integral member of the cast was gone, and they had 20 minutes to redo all the choreography for the fight so it would make sense with who's fighting and who isn't at different moments. And so in those 20 minutes, they completely re-choreographed the fight scene, which is swords and burning torches and arrows, and it was bizarre. It was amazing to watch these people just on the fly pick this up, and knowing where other people are going to be and what routes are available, and then watching it actually unfold in the play, and they nailed it. They nailed it with one go through with music at speed, and a couple slower practices. But anyway, it's a fantastic thing. If you can watch it free, it's even better. I mean, I would pay for it, but we got to watch it free, which was really good. I don't know how much it normally costs, but let's see. What trials are coming up? Anyone know? A couple good ones. Sarah Boone, obviously, we're keeping our ear to the ground for that one. Shout out to JB this morning. JB from Sharon McDonald. Hope you are doing well. Thank you. I appreciate you guys letting me run to that. We are going to pick up here with court, and we don't have very much. Just looking at it, we don't have a lot to go through, so I don't think we have to speed it up very much here. So we're going to watch just actual speed. So we pick up what happened yesterday. Hopefully, Sarah Boone's letter comes through this morning, and we're going to get that, and we can be able to have everything done before court goes live this morning. So we'll be caught up again before court starts this morning, because in Arizona, they start at 10:30 Arizona time, which is like 3 hours difference. And so it's basically after lunch before Arizona court starts. Jen says, I didn't get a notification today. I'm glad you made it anyway. YouTube sometimes doesn't. Basically, all you have to do is always just turn on YouTube and check the channel. Jen, I wish I had a better answer for you. I wish that that the notification system was reliable and you could depend on it like a good alarm clock. But it doesn't happen. I'll tell you, a fun other thing is we're waiting for the court's beginning. We're going to go ahead and jump to this right now.
Defendant. Judge, at break, the witness, James Turney, clarified that he did not say that if the defendant did something sexually, as in the vehicle. He said that
this is right.
Alyssa said that her father did something to her. So I expanded upon that. It must have been something that I thought went together. I still thought it was impermissible, which is why I wasn't going to go to that. However, I wanted to correct the record based on what he had told me.
All right. Anything else before we bring the jury in?
Not from the state judge.
Oh, and then because of the witness. Oh, yeah.
Judge, I guess we got to one of the witnesses, John Turney, testified to something that I did not expect him to testify to, which was fine. We do not need another witness to come in and say that now. So we have one less witness today. We are left with, after James Turney, two witnesses. I believe it's Mike Stanley and Jessica Case Lane. So those are who we have. We might finish a little bit early today, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Angela, let's bring the jury in.
And just briefly, Ms. Miranda spoke with us and let us know that she spoke to her supervisor and they were able to remove the leg braces, so we don't need to address that tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you.
So no leg braces. Bradley Yon, he's a piece of work. Oh my goodness! First of all, it's an awful case, but at the same time, I think this guy is a complete nutcase. If I'm thinking of the right guy.
And the witness may resume the witness stand if he's in the courtroom. There
Didn't they just seat the jury from that one? Okay, so this is, Allie, we're picking up right after lunch. This is yesterday after lunch. They say that one of their witnesses is not going to be here, so they're going to be short, just two witnesses here. It's going to be fairly quick. And he said, bring the jury. We did find out yesterday. This is funny because during our lunchtime, everyone's going to change clothes, which is funny. But yesterday we found out the defendant has a health concern where he's got some leg braces on or some sort of restraint on that's causing him circulation problems. And it looks like the sheriff has agreed that they don't need those. So he's under a little less restraint today. Be kind. I saw this. First of all, we did not show the pictures intentionally on the channel. When they were available, when everyone else was showing pictures, we did not. I was very disappointed to hear that other people were showing, and how that went down. That was not good, in my estimation. Jacko, thank you for the super sticker. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Leslie Van Houten was released. I did not see that.
Thank you. Please be seated.
They charge people to view the photos. It's not right.
We're back on the record in State versus Turney. Let the record show the presence of counsel, the defendant, and the jury. And witness James Turney is back on the witness stand. Mr. Bailey, you may resume your direct examination of the witness whenever you're ready.
All right, thank you, Judge. We left off with you letting us know about a phone call that the defendant told you about, correct?
Yes.
And you said you could not, there was nothing that he told you that Alyssa had said?
Correct.
And that, I guess, can you describe that again?
How he described it to me was the other end was either static or garbled. There was no communication back and forth. It was him yelling at the phone, Alyssa, is that you? Alyssa, is that you?
Did that prompt you to do anything?
I said, that must have been, horrible, or I was probably being sympathetic.
Did you return to the house or do anything additional did that prompt you to do anything to search for Alyssa or do anything different than what you were already doing?
I felt that my father seemed to, from what he was telling me, have every base covered.
Okay. At what point did you learn that your father had picked up Alyssa from school that day, or stated he had picked up Alyssa from school that day?
Many years later, I think it was around the time when the police went into the house.
All right. And one moment, Your Honor.
It seems weird that they have break this early into the questioning. Okay, the Sarah Boone thing.
And I'm going to lead you through this portion of my question.
I'll wait.
But did you later on ask your dad what happened to Alyssa?
Yes.
And did your father tell you that two people from two electrical workers had killed her?
Yes. From the union, yeah.
Do you recall when he told you that?
I believe it was around 2007.
Okay. I have no additional questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Any cross-examination, Ms. Hicks?
Good afternoon, sir. I'm going to go through some basic background. I know we talked a little bit about it on direct, but again, we're all new here to your family dynamic, and so I want to make sure that everybody understands. So you are Alyssa's stepbrother.
Yes.
Your father is Mike.
Yes.
And your father eventually remarried after he and your mother got divorced.
Yes.
You were 12 years old when your father married Barbara?
Yeah, possibly.
About.
Yeah.
And Alyssa was 3.5 years old.
Yeah, I think she was under 4 or something like that, yeah.
So about a 10-year age gap.
Yes.
Okay. And you had testified that you were somewhat of a parental figure to her and Sarah.
Like a substitute, yeah.
And when Barbara was diagnosed with cancer, you moved to California to help out with the girls.
Yep.
And after Barbara died, you stuck around to help care for your sisters as well.
Yes.
And eventually everyone moved back to Arizona.
Yeah.
Now, at the time of Alyssa's disappearance, you weren't living with your father and the girls.
I was not.
You were living in Tempe.
No, I was living in Chandler.
Chandler, okay. And you lived there up until Alyssa's disappearance.
Yes, yes.
So you were still around somewhat.
The last several months before she disappeared, yes.
Okay. So you knew Alyssa from when she was little up until when she was a teenager.
Yes.
You had a good sense of her personality.
I would say decent, yeah.
Yeah. What she was like as a child.
Yes.
Now, you described her as somewhat happy.
Yes.
You said she seemed upset about being in the house a lot.
Yes.
She was stubborn.
Yes.
Confrontational.
Yes.
You said she was the most difficult of your 6 siblings.
Yes.
In fact, you noticed that she had some difficulties in school.
I believe that's what I was told, yes.
And you told the detective that she was not interested in school.
That was what I've been told, yes.
Is that what you told the detective?
If that's what it says, yes.
Would it help if I refresh your recollection? Okay, just a moment.
He said no. He shook his head. He's like, and she's going to do it anyway. Come on, Your Honor. Oh. Lisa, we might be long lost distant cousins. She's booting up her computer now. Just waiting for it to load. Do. Okay, here we go.
I'm just going to play him a portion of the clip from his interview.
Okay, so that what she just did, that is polite. That is the right thing to do. She went to the defense and said, "Here's what I'm going to show him. I'm just going to play, this portion of, XYZ," and they nodded. Yesterday, we saw, or actually it would have been earlier today in the proceedings we're watching right now, we saw Gandalf refused to show the other side what he was showing the witness. He's like, "No, I'm going to show him. No, you can see it later." He just wouldn't do it, and then he never really showed it to him. I guess obviously they knew what it was because it was authenticated and talked about, but I have not seen the new date. I'm updating. The old date is still reflected in the system for Sarah Boone of 7/24, but there's a hearing on 7/21 where they're going to talk about the problems they're having with expert witnesses, and that is literally the workday before trial's supposed to start. I just cannot see this going forward because defense does not have the report, and so obviously prosecution doesn't have the report from the expert witness. They can't counter that. They can't go into court not knowing what's going to happen. There needs to be some disclosure there.
So let me know if... And then just let me know when you're done.
Okay.
More?
Sorry.
Queen Olive, love that
Just take it all
yellow.
the way up, yeah.
Love the yellow courthouse. Thank you so much for your support. Witness is now listening to testimony that he was. It's him. It's a recording of him talking to a police investigator, probably back in 2008. That time period. Realized that was, by my math, a long time ago, and so his recollection is probably different now, or has changed, or some things have faded, and so we're seeing this a lot in this trial because of the amount of time that's gone by. A lot of the witnesses have to have their memory refreshed. We'll see if he handles this a little differently than some of his siblings did. This is like an old Sony Walkman. "20-year-old hearsay is my favorite type." It ripens with age, Ivan. Good hearsay. Over time just gets better and better. Suki, yes, Boone was going to be the same time as Shabusiness. Now it looks like they're going to be different times. I tell you, Shabusiness is. I don't know how anyone can show the Shabusiness trial on YouTube. The content of that trial is going to.
It should be done.
No. It's talking about she's happy confrontation. Yeah, I'm sorry.
This is bizarre. She's clearly found the wrong part of the interview to play, and he's like, doesn't refresh my recollection because we're talking about something completely different than what you were questioning me about. Yeah, he did say no. He said no, it would not refresh his recollection. Sarah Boone's status hearing is on 7/21. I am seeing that, but I'm not seeing. But the hearing or the trial date is still scheduled for the 24th, right at the top of the docket.
I missed a one in front of it. That's what happened.
I wonder if this guy's going to be like, under the rule of completeness, I'd like to listen to the entire 3-hour interview. Rosie, no, because court starts so late. Starts at 10:30 in Arizona. We're watching yesterday afternoons, and then we'll watch this morning's live. So we're half live, half on replay.
So Sir, you just listened to a clip that I played you from your police interview and it's a phone interview in 2008, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in that interview, you said that Alyssa was not interested in school.
Yes, that's what I was told.
She had no plans to go to college.
Not to my knowledge.
She had difficulty concentrating in school.
That's what I was told, yes.
Is that what you said in the police?
That is what I said, yes.
And she was on Ritalin at some point?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, that's what you said in the police interview.
That's what I was probably told.
But is that what you said in the police interview?
That I don't remember.
Would it help if I refresh your recollection?
Sure.
Bring back the headphones. He's going to listen to himself again. It's funny because most of these witnesses are not being adamantly like, no, that wasn't the case. They're not saying no. They're saying I didn't know that, and if I had said that, I was told that. It's been consistent throughout this. It's like, because that's what I was told. That's what I was told. Who were you told that by? I was told that by the defendant. I was told that by my dad. So once again, she's going to bring this up just so they can say, yes, I told them that she was on Ritalin, and because that's what I was told. Listen for that. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, now I remember she was on Ritalin. It's just going to be, I remember telling them that because I was told that she was on Ritalin. We have the headphones emoji out. Thank you, Ashley. It's going to lose the jury. That was quick. Man, she had that right queued up. Good work.
Sir, again, you listened to another short clip from your interview. You told the police that she was on Ritalin at some point.
I said I think that she was on Ritalin, or they tried to put her on Ritalin, and that's what I was told, yes.
That's what I was
told. All right,
told.
and then let's move now to the differences between how you and your sisters were raised.
Yes.
So after you and your brothers moved out, your father raised your two sisters.
Yes.
And you noticed that there were some differences in the way that your father raised the girls from the boys.
Yes.
Your father was more lax with some of the rules.
Yes.
But stricter in other ways.
Yes.
Like dating.
Yes.
Okay. And you said in your interview that sometimes boys and girls are parented differently.
I believe at the time I believed that, yes.
I
did say that, yes. I did say that at the time.
I don't want to listen.
Since had children, so.
Yeah.
He does not want to listen.
Sir, you testified on direct that your father called you the day that Alyssa disappeared.
I believe so, that day.
He asked you to come over to the house.
I believe so.
Do you remember going through the house to see if anything was out of place?
That day is so long ago, and I don't remember exactly what I looked around at, but I don't remember anything being out of place specifically.
Right. So if there was like furniture moved around or holes in the wall, you would have noticed.
Nothing like that at all. No.
You would have noticed that, right?
Their house was specifically less clean than I grew up with, so it was very cluttered, so it was kind of hard to tell, but nothing like holes in the walls or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
No blood?
No.
You saw your father that day as well?
I did, yes.
You didn't notice any scratches on his face?
No.
Bruising?
Not that I could see.
No. Just a moment, Your Honor.
Is that all they have? Are we on to jury questions already? I guess we'll have a redirect first, but. Hey guys, let's dial it back with the business details. There's a reason why we're probably not going to be. Well, I can tell you, there's a reason why we're not covering that trial, and it's because the details cause problems for the channel. So let's keep it out of chat too if we can. That would be great. The defendant sure has some very unique habits, I don't know. I told my wife the creep radar just it's pegged around him. He's like, woo, woo. Alarms, lights are flashing, flags are waving. Something's wrong. And I guess what they say in Norway was something stinks in Denmark. I think, isn't that a phrase? Hopefully I didn't offend anyone there. I don't know what the political implications of that comment are, but basically there's something's off, something's wrong. But at the same time, I haven't seen evidence.
Just a couple of follow-up questions on some of your testimony earlier today from from Direct. You had testified on Direct that your dad told you something about the union being involved in Alyssa's death.
Yes.
Okay. When did he tell you this?
Back in 2007, I think, roughly. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Something is rotten in the city.
Was that over the phone or was that in person?
It was in person.
Okay.
Long pauses. When they say, was it over the phone or in person? If it was over the phone, it would probably be recorded because they recorded everything. Except for this phone call allegedly from Alyssa from California, which under this testimony, she never said anything. Allie, the contents, the words that are said in chat are calculated into the monetization. And if chat starts talking about topics that YouTube feels are not fit for advertising, I basically get no ad revenue for the day's work, which I don't push ads on you guys at all. There are no mid-roll ads. Everything that they do push is skippable. So I get very little ad revenue, but that is important to me. And if the topics go downhill,
Sir, you testified on Direct that your father told you about the night that Alyssa called on. It would have been May 24th, 2001.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. And you testified on Direct that your dad told you that there was just static on the line.
Yes, that's what he told me initially. Yes.
Okay. And in September of 2008, you would have been 34 years of age?
Okay, yes. Yes.
And in September of 2008, you spoke with detectives, and you listened to a portion of that interview earlier.
Yes.
And you told the detective that you didn't know what Michael had claimed Alyssa said.
Yes, because she didn't say anything to him.
But that's different from saying that there was just static on the other line.
Well, that's something. He was yelling at the phone. He said it was garbled.
But you told him you did not know what Michael claimed Alyssa said.
I did.
Okay. And you never told detectives during that interview that your father only said there was static on the line.
I don't think I went into a deep discussion of it, no.
Okay.
A little confrontational there.
So, sir, in 2008, this was the first time that you spoke to police about Alyssa's disappearance.
No.
No?
I'd had contact with the other police officers beforehand, just checking in to see if there was anything going on.
But this is the first formal interview, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's the first formal interview. They're asking you questions about your father and Alyssa's disappearance, and you didn't think to tell them any more information about the phone call.
The interview was going at a pretty decent clip. I was just answering questions as best I could.
Okay. But you would have known about the static because you had said that on Direct that your father told you about it in 2007.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I said is what I said back then.
Okay. So you would have known it when the police talked to you in 2008?
If they had asked me if that I meant was that static, I would have said that it was static.
Okay. But you didn't say anything about static in your 2008 interview?
Did not.
Okay. All right. No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hicks. Mr. Bailey, any redirect?
The static is a problem for the defense.
You were asked questions about Ritalin and some things that you were told about Alyssa. How are you aware of Ritalin or any medical diagnosis like that?
My father would have told me. And all the time that I took care of her, I never administered any medication to Alyssa.
Okay. And you stated that you went over to the house the day Alyssa went missing after your father had called you and told you that?
I believe so.
Do you remember if it was the day that he called you or the next day?
I can't say for 100% certain.
When you went over there, were you looking for signs of blood?
No.
Were you looking for damage inside the house?
No.
What was your purpose for going over there?
To see what was going on, to get more information, see if I could be of any help.
Okay.
The kids all have a very similar...
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, any members of the jury have any questions for this witness? It appears that there are none. Thank you, sir. You may resume your seat in the back if you'd like.
I think we will
And
have
the
one or two
state may
more
call its
witnesses.
next witness.
May I check in the hallway?
You may.
Checking to see if the witnesses haven't bolted. The children in this family all have presented very similarly, with the exception of her favorite brother. Was it John?
May we take a brief break? I think my witnesses are in the restroom.
Sure. You think they're here, they're just indisposed for a moment?
I believe so, because she was my witness was just out.
All right.
She ran.
You want me to excuse the jury, or?
I think for 5 minutes, if you may judge.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a 5-minute recess. I'll ask you to just leave everything in the courtroom if you'd like. Please remember the admonition. The jury's now excused.
Okay, we're gonna answer a couple questions here while they're hunting down the next witness, who seems to maybe had to run to the restroom or something first. So they're gonna give him just a minute. Let's see. Could you, Moz homemade soap? Could you tell us what determines or prompts the amounts of pretrial hearings are conducted? Generally, it has to do with business. They don't just... The judge wants to do a couple things. He wants to make sure the case is moving forward, right? So he's going to check and get a status on where they are and how much time they're going to need to do what they need to do. Whether it's... you might get a defendant who says...
Please be seated.
Let's see if they have any business here. Hang on.
We're off the record.
We're just going to chill here. So,
a draft of closing instructions.
You going to talk all the way through the break, Your Honor? Or can I? There we go. Okay. We'll just keep that right there. Anyway, so the judge is going to check in with both sides and say, where are you at in the trial? And initially they're going to be like, we need time. There's so much material to review. We have to start at the very beginning, Your Honor. This is going to take, this is going to take 6 months. And they're like, okay, we'll be back in 3 months and see how you're doing. And so they'll schedule, and it'll just keep going. And eventually they get to a point where either they get to a point where they say, Your Honor, we've been reviewing this, and we have some evidence that we think should be excluded. We'll file a motion in limine. We say this should not be allowed for this reason. And then they'll argue that, and a lot of these things they can argue and sort out, and the judge can rule on before the trial even starts. So it can't even be brought up at trial. It's as if it never happened. It's like it might be prejudicial instead of probative, meaning that it makes the defendant look bad, but it doesn't really give the jury anything to go on other than just haha, look how bad we can make him look. Now that, taint his image in the eyes of the jury. So there are a lot of reasons they'll go into that. They may find that they need an expert witness and say, Your Honor, we need an expert. If it's a public defender, every expert witness has to be authorized by the judge because that's taxpayer money that's going to pay for that. Usually it's about, $7,000 to $10,000. And so that is going to, have to go through these motion hearings and everything beforehand. So Sarah Boone has had a lot of these. In addition, a lot of the hearings or the motions that were made in Sarah Boone's case early on had to do with the fact that her attorneys wanted off the case or were not able to serve for one reason or another. So she's on number 6, I think, right now. And so they'd make motions to the judge and say, Your Honor, can you release me from this case? Because they can't just quit. When you're court appointed, the judge appointed you there. And the judge has to be the one to say, okay, I'll let you off. I put you there, I will remove you. And so there's hearings for that as well. Just a lot of hearings, and it just takes time. And in Sarah Boone's case, it's taken 3.5 years to work through all these things, all these challenges, and they're still not done. They still have problems with the expert witness that, in this case, it's a money issue. They want more money than the state's willing to pay, and the judge has to authorize that. And so we'll see how that goes. And then the actual delay is probably going to be the time that the defense needs to analyze the expert witness's report, as well as the time the state needs to analyze the defense's expert witness report, hire their own expert in the same field, and gain a report and study that that has the contrasting opinion. So that's the delay. And so yes, I guess September probably is right for the date, but we just don't know at this point. So we're going to find out on the 21st. That's the next hearing in the Sarah Boone case, where they're at. So, Jennifer, thank you. I am back on YouTube. Thank you for the 3 months on the support. Jack Warbler, thank you very much for clicking the subscribe button. We call that admitting to being an addict. Welcome to the life of true crime, the family of true crime. You can't leave now. You're one of us. Did Sarah Boone write a new letter? Yes, and that's what if I can show you my desk right now. This is the court page for Orange County Clerk of Court for Florida. Florida Orange County Clerk of Court. I'm refreshing this constantly all day long, waiting for that scan to pop up so we can go live with the letter that she's written. The judge has said he's received. He said, I've got another letter. It's similar to the others. Okay. If nothing else, Sarah Boone is consistent. And so he's notified both the sides that that's happened. And now, as is the law in Florida, communications to the judge like this are public record. They go live. They can be searched. They can be, reviewed. They can be printed and viewed and shared. And so we're not doing anything nefarious. We're not hacking into the system to get this. It's all okay. We can do this. See, we're coming back, I think, right now. But Sarah Boone wrote a new letter, and we are just anxious, very anxious to receive that. And as soon as it happens, we'll be sharing it with you all. Just waiting on the court to scan it. Looks like the jury is coming back in. Yeah, we've got Toxic. I know you've got document hounds watching this. We've got some here as well. As soon as it drops, we'll know about it.
Please be seated.
And what link do you want? Do you want the Orange County Clerk of Courts?
We are back on the record. Let the record reflect the presence of counsel, the defendant, and the jury. Mr. Bailey, the state may call its next witness.
State calls Jessica Lang.
Ma'am, if you'll please come forward. The clerk that's standing to my left is going to get your name, and she's going to swear you in.
This courthouse is a bit of a maze. Witnesses are a little bit lost as to how to come forward and where to go and how to get to the witness stand. We've had a couple wander around in the well just a little bit.
L-A-N-G. Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
And ma'am, if you'll please take a walk up that ramp and then have a seat on the witness stand here to my right. And you'll see there's a little microphone there. If you can just make sure you're speaking into that. Mr. Bailey, whenever you're ready, you may proceed with your direct examination of the witness.
Thank you, Judge. Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Jessica Lang.
Okay. And did you formally call Jessica Chase?
It was Jessica Case.
Case, I'm sorry.
When I was in high school.
Yes. And do you currently live locally?
I do.
Right. And where did you grow up?
40th Street in Bell area.
So locally as well?
Local Phoenix, yes.
Okay. Where'd you go to high school at?
Paradise Valley High School.
Right. And do you remember doing a police interview for this case back in approximately 2008?
I do.
Okay. When did you meet Alyssa?
It was August, September of 2000. We had a ceramics class together.
Okay. And did you become friends?
We did.
How close of friends were you?
I would say we were pretty good friends.
I apologize. Go ahead.
We instantly clicked. We always wore the same shirts.
So based on that, how often did you spend time together?
We had a class together every day for a semester, and then there were a few times outside of school in that time that we hung out.
Can you tell us what Alyssa was like to you?
Happy, friendly. She just wanted to have fun. Like regular teenage girl stuff.
Right. Did she talk to you about her family at all?
She did.
Did you ever see her and her sister interact?
I did.
Yeah. How did they interact when you observed them?
Typical sister stuff. Sarah wanted to do whatever Alyssa was doing, so that annoyed Alyssa.
Cruffy, I want to talk about this, but I think it's
Were you friends with
different.
a boyfriend that Alyssa had by the name of John Lackman?
I was friends with John's friend, Jesus. So
And I say this sometimes lawyers will ask bad questions. I meant to ask, did you know John Lackman?
I did know John.
And was that through a mutual friend? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever see Alyssa and John interacting together?
Yes.
How did they interact with each other?
Teenage couple doing... I'm not sure how to answer that.
Sure.
Just-
Well, did you see them at school?
I did.
Right. And would they talk or have lunch together, things like that?
Yes.
Right. Did while they were together, did you also spend time with them?
I did. Yes.
Right. Did you know any of Alyssa's brothers?
I met them, but I cannot say for sure which ones or if it was all of them.
All right. And did you ever meet Alyssa's father or stepfather?
Yes.
All right. Did it appear to you that Alyssa was closest to any one of her family members?
I do not recall.
Okay. Did you spend time at Alyssa's house?
I did a couple of times, yes.
All right. And what kind of things would you do at Alyssa's house?
We hung out in her room, played with her ferret. I think we watched a movie.
There's the ferret again.
I hung out there on Halloween. It was very cold outside, and we handed out candy.
All right. Were you personally aware of any video cameras in the house?
Yes.
And were you personally aware of a video recording system for the phone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you know what day Alyssa went missing?
I do.
Okay. What day was that?
It was May 17th, 2001.
Did
the last
you?
day of school.
Oh, I apologize. You said that was the last day of school?
Correct.
All right. Were you going to school with her
Yes.
on that last day of school?
Yes.
And did you actually see her at school that day?
I do believe so, yes.
All right. Do you recall what she was wearing?
A tank top that crossed in the back and shorts. And there was a very specific type of shoe that she had that...
What did you call those types of shoes?
Skater shoes.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
I mean, they were specifically designed for skating.
And is that like...
What's the brand? Like DG?
Skateboarding?
Yes.
Okay. What did you see Alyssa doing on that last day?
Walking.
Well, was she with anyone else when you saw her?
I do not recall.
All right. Do you recall when you saw her?
At some point, we always had half day on the last day of school. So I saw her at some point because we discussed our plan for the night.
Okay.
Okay, that's important. She had plans for that night.
When you saw Alyssa and her boyfriend, Mr. Lackman, together, did you notice any conflict between the two?
Not to my recollection.
And after you saw her that day, did you ever see her again?
I did not.
How did you find out that Alyssa was gone?
I spoke with Michael Turney.
All right. And when you say you spoke with Michael Turney, what do you mean by that?
Either I called the house, their house, or he called me.
And do you remember when that was?
It had to have been early afternoon.
Okay. So would it have been the same day of school?
Yes.
Did the defendant make any statements to you about Alyssa in that phone call?
Yes. He specifically said, "Where the fuck is she? I know she's with you. Where is my daughter?"
Okay. And did you know where she was?
I did not.
Beep.
After you found that out, did you ever go to the Turney house?
No, I did not.
Did you do anything to look for Alyssa?
I called Michael Turney because he did tell me that he would be organizing a search party, and I had not heard from him. So I reached out, and he dismissed me and said that he would get to me when he had more information for me.
Okay.
Something to that effect.
And one more, Your Honor?
You may.
Yeah, that conversation seems a little bit off.
You said that you saw her, it was a half day at school, last day of school.
Yes.
You recall the time that you saw her?
At this time, I do not.
Okay. Do you know if it was in class?
It was not in class. We did not have a class together at that time, but the last days of school were kind of a free-for-all.
Okay. Was it between classes?
I suppose that is a possibility, yes.
All right. And do you remember, were you able to provide any information about when you or Mr. Turney called and you spoke about Alyssa disappearing?
I went to my friend's house at probably 7 o'clock, so it was before that, between probably 4 and 6 p.m.
And when you spoke about you had plans for the night, what were your plans?
Another friend of mine was having a party, and we were hopeful that her and John would be able to come hang out with us.
All right. And have you ever heard from Alyssa since May 17th, 2001, after that time you saw her between classes?
No, I have not.
And have you ever seen her again since that time between classes?
No, I have not.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Any cross-examination? Mr. Jackson.
Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hi.
I just want to ask you a few questions. You testified a second ago that you contacted Mr. Turney to try to help search for Alyssa, and he kind of dismissed you. That's what you said, correct?
Correct.
Do you remember telling the detectives in your interview back in 2009 at the beginning that he called you asking if you wanted to help look for Alyssa? That is what you told the detectives, correct?
He said that he would be organizing a search party, and then I never heard from him. So I reached out after that because I hadn't heard from him.
Now, you talked a little bit about the recording in the living room, the video camera, correct? How did you know that was there?
I was told about it.
Okay. Do you remember seeing where that camera was in the living room?
Yes, I looked for it.
And did you find it?
Yes.
And how did you find this camera?
I mean, well, whether it was real or imagined, I looked for it, so I knew it was there, so.
But do you remember telling the detectives that you saw a red light in the vent? That's how you knew the camera was there.
If that's what I told the detectives, then that's what I recalled at the time.
Do you have an independent recollection of that now?
I do not.
Do you remember doing an interview with the defense?
Yes.
Do you remember talking about the camera then?
Vaguely.
And that interview was recently? Last few months?
Yes.
And do you remember talking about the camera in that interview? You said vaguely. Do you remember saying anything about that red light?
I do not recall at this time, no.
But you vaguely remember telling the detective, or you don't remember at all about telling the detective that the light is how you knew, the little LED red light?
I know that the cameras were spoken of, but specifics beyond that, I cannot be certain at this time.
Okay. Now, you talked about John Lackman, knowing him, and your friend knew him, and that Alyssa was dating him, correct?
Correct.
Can you describe their relationship?
I'm not sure how to. It just seemed like a regular relationship. They did things together. He drove a truck.
Do you remember telling people are overhearing that, or do you remember saying that he made her cry a lot?
No, but that's not surprising. Teenage girls cry a lot.
Okay. I want to ask you a couple questions about her job at that time. Do you know where she worked?
Jack in the Box.
Were you aware if she liked her job?
I do not know.
Do you remember discussions about her job saying that the people there were stupid and she hated it?
I do not recall at this time, no.
Now, I want to ask you again about the call on May 17th. You said you believe that was somewhere between 4:30 and 7 o'clock, correct? that first conversation you had with Michael Turney, her dad?
It would have been closer to like 4 and 6.
Okay, so it was earlier than later. You knew that you were going somewhere and you had plans at 7, correct?
Correct.
Why do you believe that it was closer to this 4 or 5?
Because I would have had to get ready.
Okay. Do you remember telling the detectives that you received a call from her and you were calling her back?
That was how I remembered it. I did not speak with her, but there was a missed call. I saw it on the caller ID and called back, and that's when he.
And that call, how close?
He yelled at me that I knew where she was.
How close in proximity is that missed call to when you called her back, or called the number back?
Within a couple of hours.
Could it have been shorter time, longer time? I mean,
it could not have been more than a couple of hours.
Could it have been 15, 20 minutes?
That is possible, yes.
And so when you called back, he answered, correct?
Yes.
And he seemed pretty angry?
Yes.
He's yelling at you? He's trying to find out where his daughter is?
Yes.
He thinks you have her?
Yes.
He actually says, where the fuck is she?
Correct.
I know she is with you?
Correct.
Where is my daughter?
Correct.
How long did that conversation last for?
I do not recall.
After you told him that she wasn't with you, you guys started having other discussions, correct?
I do not recall at this time.
Do you remember him telling you about a runaway note?
Yes, he did tell me that there was a note.
And then when that conversation, when was the next time that you spoke with him?
Within a week, I would say. Maybe a few days.
And that's when he reached out to you to ask you if you wanted to help search?
No, I do believe that he offered to organize a search party when I spoke to him that day.
That very first conversation, you think that's when
I believe so.
Now, you also, do you ever remember seeing any flyers around?
I remember seeing 2 flyers in the area.
There was one at Jack in the Box?
Yes.
And one at Walmart?
Yes.
And when did you see those?
I cannot be certain.
And you actually took one of the flyers, correct, off the Walmart wall?
I did.
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Any redirect, Mr. Bailey?
Why did you take that flyer off the Walmart sign?
I'm not sure. I was just angry about the whole situation, I suppose.
What do you mean you're angry about the whole situation?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Here we go.
That she would run away without me.
Okay. And did you know that she ran away?
I did not know.
Okay. And this runaway note, did you ever see it?
I saw it when the police interviewed me in 2007.
Did you ever see it when the defendant had it?
No.
Okay. I guess the question that I'm asking you is the information that you believed or knew about as far as what happened to Alyssa after you saw her at class, where did you get that from? Did someone else tell you that?
I'm
Sure. the information, the things that you testified to about a note and things like that, was that information that was provided to you by the defendant?
Yes.
In front of the Walmart.
And this call that you have that you missed, that you said you saw on the caller ID, did you ever hear a voice message for that?
I did not.
Do you know who made that call?
I do not.
It was just a number that you saw on your voicemail?
It was the caller ID.
I apologize.
Yes.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, any members of the jury have any questions for this witness? It appears that there are none. May the witness be excused. Any objection? Mr. Jackson? Any objection? Thank you, ma'am. You may be excused.
We might be wrapping things up right now.
Get my next witness.
You may.
Oh, no. There's one more witness. One more witness here.
Sir, if you'll please come forward. If you'll please come forward and approach the woman who's standing to my left, she'll get your name from you and swear you in.
Spell your first and last name.
Michael Allen, M-I-C-H-B-E-L-A-L-L-E-N, S-T-A-N-L-E-Y.
Please raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Sir, if you could please take a walk up that ramp and then have a seat on the witness stand here to my right.
Easy. Oh, man. Adulting is hard. It really is.
And you'll see there's a microphone right there if you can just make sure you're speaking into it. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Bailey, whenever you're ready, you may proceed with your direct examination of the witness.
Thank you, Judge. Can you please introduce yourself?
Michael Allen Stanley.
And where do you live? Do you live locally?
Yeah, I live here in Phoenix, North Phoenix.
All right. And how long have you lived in Phoenix?
Since 1990, so 21 years.
Where did you live before that?
Northern California.
All right. Do you know, where'd you go to high school?
Greenway High School.
And do you recall doing a police interview for this case back in approximately 2009?
Yes.
All right. How did you know Alyssa?
Through our work.
Okay. And when you say work, where did you work at?
Jack in the Box at 40th Street in Bell.
Okay. What was your job title for that position?
Shift manager.
Right. And what were your, well, how long did you work with Alyssa?
A few months, I believe.
Okay. And did you manage her?
Yes.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how that interaction occurred with you and her at Jack in the Box?
Well, I mean, initially it started off as, of course, not knowing her at all, and but training her at various jobs around the store, but mainly for customer service, working with working at the front counter or in the drive-through, and then from there, she became more independent, and I didn't have to, interact with her as much.
What was Alyssa like at work?
I mean, like anybody at the beginning, they don't know their way around, and I have to teach them some things, but eventually she became very productive and smart, funny at times.
Was she a reliable employee?
Absolutely.
And
he taught her all sorts of things.
Did you know any of? Did you meet any of Alyssa's family?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Okay.
At work.
All right. And at some point, did you go to Alyssa's house?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
I'm not sure what the scenario was. If more than likely we got off at the same time from work and I gave her a ride home.
Okay. And then what did you do when you went to her house?
We came through the door and met whoever was there, and then proceeded towards her bedroom and interacted. And then at a certain time, we were ushered to the couch to hang out there. And then we were there for a little while, and then again ushered out of the house. I was told to leave.
All right. Were you aware of video surveillance in the house?
In the house, no.
Okay. So you said you were ushered into the house, or
into her room. Like we walked in, and there may have been some pleasantries greeting who may have ever been there, like her sister or father, but she wanted to be alone. So we went, that's what I meant, ushered towards her room by her. And then we were ushered out of her room by, I'm not sure if it was probably her dad that said, we were in there and the door was closed. So he said, more or less go out on the couch where you're not isolated.
Okay.
And that's what we did.
So when you went to her house with her that night, there was other family members were present.
Yes.
Okay. And we didn't talk about approximately when was this?
A date or time?
Well, the best you can as far as a date.
The date, I'm assuming it was late to mid-spring of 2001.
All right. And, well, how long did you work at Jack in the Box?
From September of 1999 to late spring, early summer of 2001.
All right. So you're brought into the house. You're asked at some point to go into the front room.
Yeah, I mean, they're right there, as you walk in the door initially.
Okay, and then what do you do?
Say hi, and then am ushered by her towards her room.
Okay. I guess the confusion I'm having is, so you went inside, you and Alyssa went to her bedroom?
Yes.
And at some point you were asked by an individual you believed was her father to leave the bedroom?
Right. It was because the door was closed in her bedroom, and I believe there was a knock, but no opening the door. Just, it said, you guys need to come out to the living room, more or less.
Okay. And then while you were in the living room, what did you do?
Made out.
Okay. And was it anything significant, I guess?
In my heart or in my mind? I'm not sure what you mean.
I guess physically. That's a good ask for a clarification there.
I'm not really sure.
The nature of it.
It didn't last too long before I was told to leave. So.
All right. So you have what you called as a make-out on the couch, and then you were asked to leave. Who was that by?
Michael Turney, her father.
Okay. So at that point, do you leave?
Yes.
All right. And after that, did you ever see Alyssa again?
I did not, no.
Okay. And did you go back to work
yes.
after that? And so it's fair to say Alyssa was never at work again.
It is fair to say that, yes.
You quit or left Jack in the Box. Did you leave Jack in the Box shortly after?
Yeah, I would assume so.
You said your tenure at Jack in the Box was from, I believe it was 1999 to about the summer of 2001.
Correct.
Summer, spring 2001.
Correct.
Why did you end up leaving Jack in the Box?
Shortly before that, in 2001, I was diagnosed with spina bifida, and I had been having some unresolved medical complications, and I could not work anymore due to the intensity of those medical complications.
So the proximity with you also quitting Jack in the Box had nothing to do with anything that went on with Alyssa?
Absolutely not.
Yes, this is the individual that would most likely also be considered a suspect early on in the case, I would say.
When were you informed that Alyssa, or found out that Alyssa was gone?
When I was first interviewed?
Okay. And would that have been in 2009?
Yes.
All right. Judge, I don't have any additional questions.
Now,
Thank you, Mr. Bailey.
Defense might go into
Cross-examination,
more
Mr. Jackson.
detail about what happened
Just
here.
briefly, you had said that you likely went over there because you guys had got off at the same time. Do you remember what Alyssa's typical schedule was back then?
Well, considering she was a high school student and underage, she was always working after her
she was underage.
Day at high school ended, so roughly 3 p.m. Unless it was the weekend, then I'm assuming she could come in anytime she wanted. But because she was a minor, she could not work past midnight.
It was midnight. We've heard possibly that it was 10 a.m. Is midnight as late as you can work as a minor, under your impression?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mr. Jackson, could you adjust that microphone so it's near you? Thank you.
I then want to ask you, do you know about what time you went over to her house?
In the evening time.
Do you know about how long you were there?
No more than 2 hours.
Do you remember being asked to leave because it was 1 o'clock in the morning?
No, I don't.
And how old were you at the time this was going on?
Either 19 or 20.
Okay. And she was 17?
Correct.
And I believe in your interview, you said that you guys were making out and heavy petting. Does that sound familiar to you?
Sure.
No further questions. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Any redirect, Mr. Bailey? Ladies and gentlemen, any members of the jury have any questions for this witness? It appears that there are none. May the witness be excused. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may be excused.
Your Honor.
It's a very fine distinction that with, 1 year would have been
All
very
right,
different.
ladies and gentlemen,
legally.
the good news is that we are running ahead of schedule, and as a result, we're out of witnesses for the day. That means you get to go home early. I'll ask you to be back at 10:30 tomorrow, and please take everything with you as you leave the courtroom. Please remember the admonition. Have a nice evening. We'll see you tomorrow at 10:30. The jury's now excused.
So while they're leaving, there are a couple things that have been ruled as inadmissible as evidence that the judge has excluded from being admitted into court as evidence. It is possible for the door to be opened, that those to be brought in, but the door has to be opened by the defense, the people who asked for the exclusion. You can't have the state open the door on something the defense does not want brought in.
Please be seated.
So it has to be the state asking the questions of the witness that elicit an answer that opens the door.
Let the record show the presence of counsel and the defendant. Jury's not present. Anything for the record from the state?
Just a couple of things, Judge. First, since we're done early today, the Detective Anderson and I need to open a couple of exhibits to help me get individual items marked for the testimony of Detective Summershoe tomorrow. Your clerk asked that I ask you to order that happen. Normally, if I just open it in front of the clerk, it's okay, but I'm following her wishes.
Sure, it's fine. And if defense wants to be present while that happens, they're welcome to be present.
The second question I have, which you're probably going to say, well, let's wait and see what happens. But
apparently, you know me.
A lot of judges want to.
I have, the next 2 or 3 witnesses, and so that I don't belabor my objections, and I'm doing this as in polite manner as I can. So, defense asked a witness, "Did you tell the police X?" I've tried a couple of different objections to that. Foundation, hearsay. And your response has been, you can address it on redirect. What I'm having difficulty with is what a witness said to the police is hearsay unless you're using it to impeach them or refresh their recollection. And when the witness says, "That's what I was told," it's obvious, to me at least, that somebody told them that, which means they don't have personal knowledge. So I'm going to continue objecting, and I'm assuming you're going to continue to overrule my objections, but I just wanted you to understand where I'm coming from. Because it's apparent to me that defense is asking these questions because they want the jury to believe that what the witness says that they were told is the truth. So it's obviously being offered for the truth of the matter asserted, not to impeach the witness. And so consequently, I will draft a limiting instruction to that effect. But I'm likely to make some objections tomorrow. I wanted you to understand why I was doing it.
Thank you. Anything else that the state wanted the court to address before we break for the day?
No, sir.
Anything else from the defense?
Just briefly on that matter, Your Honor, I believe, at least for my witnesses, and I can say some for Ms. Hicks also, the witness is now saying, "I was told that." That's not what they were telling police back then. So it's different that in the interview, if they said, "I was told X, Y, and Z," that's not the case. They're saying X, Y, and Z, and now on the stand saying, "Well, that's what I was told." That's the impeachment element of that. And so I think I'll make sure clear when I ask the question that this is what you told the detective and it's not what you were told, so we can clear that to make sure that that's more clear, I guess, for the record.
Duly noted. Anything else from the defense?
No, I guess we discussed we don't need to bring that other issue up. So, no, nothing else. Thank you.
Okay. Then, counsel, I'll ask you to be... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I neglected to bring it over. You have a copy of my PowerPoint. You were going to... Because Detective Summershoe, I anticipate, will be introducing some of the clips from primetime because he observed it, one of which they objected to that I showed in my opening statement, and you said you would look at it. I have a separate clip. I forgot to bring it with me. The PowerPoint has been marked as an exhibit.
I thought that you were sort of holding a marked exhibit yesterday that I think you were suggesting was the clip. Is that... It looked like it had been marked. My recollection is it had a green tag.
That's an audio.
Oh no, that was the call from Lynette and Sarah that they didn't get into.
Right, and you were going to listen to that. But I also thought you were going to watch the clip of when John Killen says to the defendant, "Did you molest Alyssa?"
I think it is a good idea for me to watch that before I hear you argue it, and I'm happy to do that if you can provide it to me.
Yeah, I will bring it. It's in the PowerPoint, which is marked. I'll bring the separate clip in the morning.
Okay, if you can just bring it as early as possible so I can watch it before you all get here.
Sure. And I think there was something else that we tabled.
Bring it so I can watch it before you get here.
We were going to get into that was, and I don't know if you were doing it with Summershoe or Anderson about his refusal to do an interview, but then saying in the Killen, is that tomorrow or are you doing that with him?
Probably with Detective Anderson.
We can take that up for him. There was a clip that they're trying to play and a letter that they're saying comes in that he said that he would do an interview with police if there was a polygraph for the detectives and different things. Our objection was that was in limited out, and it also comments on his right to remain silent. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, if there's anything you think I need to see before you argue that, please provide a copy to me.
There's a ruling by Judge Ryan Toohill on the defendant's lack of cooperation with police.
I would be happy if you provided that ruling to me. She made a lot of rulings in this case.
I'll do it.
I'll answer this in a second.
And just scanning the Raji's, I thought there was a standard regarding the victim's right to refuse an interview. Now I don't see it. So if you draft a proposal, that would probably be the best way to get that to me.
Sure. Thanks.
Anything else, counsel?
No.
Nothing further.
Just as let's go off the record. We're off the record. Just as I'm putting.
Okay, we're off the record, which means audio is cut. Now we have. Let me answer this question from Marlene. She says, "Please explain. Her dad told them to come out to the couch. They started heavy petting. Where was the father? Am I missing something?" Here's what occurred. It appears that this guy shows up late at night with the daughter, goes into the bedroom. The dad supposedly knocks on the door. The dad was home. The dad knocks on the door and says, "Hey, you two, I don't want you in there with the doors closed. Come out here onto this couch, right here in front of this camera, and be there." And they were there for some time. The activity, the engagement, whatever, what did he call it? They engaged in some sort of exchange. I don't know, but whatever he called it occurred there. And then the dad kicked him out, and he never saw her again. And then he quit his job as well for medical reasons. So it's a little, that adds to the creepy factor where the first of all, Alyssa at this time, she knew the camera was there. The dad obviously knew the camera was there. And when he says we were ushered to the couch, it sounds like it's almost like shown to their seats. You know, it's like, okay, right in front of the camera, right here. Okay, be right there. All right, I'm going to go in the other room, watch my cameras, and you guys continue. That's what it sounds like. Also, still no hard evidence. This is going to be a lot of circumstantial evidence, and I realize we're going to get more of it, but more evidence will be needed, I think, to convict for this jury. PowerPoint coming up tomorrow. Yay! That's going to be today. It's actually going to start in a couple hours, 2 hours. Is that right? 2.5 hours. Let's see, anyone think that Alyssa took the tape herself? I believe, Missy, the defendant in a statement to police stated that there was nothing on the tape, that he viewed it and there was nothing on the tape. So I don't think they're going to go that route in the defense. I think he's going to testify that there was a tape and it no longer exists because it was blank or something, even though all the other tapes still exist. That was the one that doesn't exist for some reason. Okay, let's see. No, not that one. Okay. All right. Some of you mentioned Cedric. Do we want to pop in on Cedric a little bit and see if anything's happening there before we wrap up for lunch? Or would you guys rather jump to your other addictions for briefly until trial starts again? Right now, I think the argument that she ran away is fairly strong. It is, Maggie. That I would say that the argument that she ran away, there is reasonable doubt that would say, yes, that's a possibility. For one thing, we have physical evidence that sustains that. It is a note written in her handwriting, signed by her. The handwriting matches. People recognize and say that's her handwriting. It was left in her room. It was found by the family. That says she was running away. Now, the counter to that evidence, which has to be considered, is that the dad apparently forced a daughter or multiple daughters and tried to force friends as well or family neighbors to sign certain statements. And so it's possible that a statement like that could have been written by her hand and not of her own free will. So that's a possibility as well. There's some of his behavior seems a little strange. Organizing a search party or telling people he's going to organize a search party early on in the day when when she's just barely gone missing is a little weird. But once again, it's not enough to convict. I don't think, at least not yet, even with all the creepy stuff. CW says, I would convict this guy with only circumstantial evidence. Well, if they do convict, I believe it will just be circumstantial evidence. Let's see. 80s Music Man, good to have you here. You missed 2 beeps today. Sorry about that. There were 2 little bombs that were dropped by one of the last, I think the last witness. Oh, no, the one before. The last witness was Michael Stanley, the manager at Jack in the Box, who did a little off-the-clock training with one of the employees. If someone made me write that note, I never would. I'd be certain they were going to kill me. Ivan, that's something we have to consider, and something that Sarah, her sister, says there are clues in that note that say something's wrong. For instance, she writes in there that when Dad dropped us off at school this morning, and she said, Dad never dropped us off at school this morning. The note starts off saying, hey, remember when this happened? That's the clue, saying this is the coded message within the forced confession. I think that's strange too. She was able to hide really well if she did run away. I don't think I don't think she ran away. I'm leaning to guilty. Selena, I think that back then it probably was easier to run away than it is now. Think of how much, just in society, how we have changed, how much that a credit card is used instead of cash, how much a phone tracks you as opposed to what it did before, which was, very, very rudimentary and very limited. Now we have facial recognition software at play in public transit areas that would be able to pick out faces fairly quickly. Police agencies are using them. There's so many ways that you can be discovered. If you run and hide, yeah, you can change your name, you can tell everybody, you can start a new life and tell everybody you're somebody you're not. But the difficult part is having the paperwork to back it up to start that. How are you going to rent that first apartment, rent that new place? You might be able to find somebody that will take cash, but it gets increasingly difficult as you're moving on in life to purchase a car, and you have to show ID to get insurance. How do you get reestablished with that new ID on something that's fraudulent? You basically have to steal somebody's identity to do that, and then you're playing a game, hoping you don't get caught, assuming that other person is alive or dead. Either way you can get caught. We've gone over the Sarah Boone letter. Tasia, I wish we could go over the latest Sarah Boone letter. Let me just check one more time on the Orange County Clerk website. The Sarah Boone letter has not yet posted. We're watching constantly. We've been refreshing all morning. That's what's on my screen right now. This is the Orange County Clerk court record search page. And the letter, we know it's coming, but it has not posted yet. So as soon as it does post, we will go live with it. Do you have the note Alyssa supposedly wrote? It's probably going to be over on Discord, CG. I don't have a copy of it right here. It was shown in court, so at least a frame grab will be there. Specific things about it that Sarah talked about that was an issue was that she signed her name with a capital A, and she never did that in real life. Well, then she was confronted with a stack of, I believe, homework assignments or something related to school that she had filled out, forms that she had written her name on, and it was basically identical, all with a capital A. And that was also Alyssa's handwriting. So that evidence was, it wasn't as solid. Is Jack in the Box a restaurant? Yes, fast food restaurant. I've heard they're good. I have never been. Let's go read Simpsons Court for a bit. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. Still on coffee number 2, says Red Pen. My dog Clover. Richard says, if no Boone trial, how about Shabusiness? Richard, the problem is the content in the Shabusiness trial. Although I believe, honestly, YouTube will probably let people show it. They're not going to shut down the channel for what's in there. And big stations will show it. But the content, because of the words that are said in the that are picked up by the computer that does closed captioning, because of the words that will be said in chat and everything, the topics that are discussed, YouTube will look at this and say, this video is not suitable for advertising, thus it cannot be monetized. that may not be a huge deal for you guys, but for me, it just means I don't get paid for what I do, and this is all I do. I don't have another. I wish I was independently wealthy and we could just follow whatever trial we wanted and not be concerned about money. But I do have to be a little mindful of that. And if I already every time we do a police chase, it's demonetized because it may have get out of the blinking car or show me your blinking hands. Just that and the image on the combined with the images you see on the screen at that point, YouTube demonetizes it. So it's something I have to be careful of. I realize that sometimes we will follow stuff, and it's like, hey, it's going to be, we're going to follow it, even though it means no money, because it's not just about money for me. I actually love this. I love what we're doing, but that particular one is going to be some very, very difficult stuff. That's I mean, it's gross. It's obscene. It pushes the envelope on every possible front. So we probably are not going to be able to follow that. There will be other trials. There always are. Let's see. The ultimate cheeseburger for Jack in the Box. That's its name. We have to find one. Where's the farthest east they have a Jack in the Box? I haven't seen any around me here in North Carolina. We need some wholesome chases like the bus chase. That was so good. We need another bus chase. Or a hearse. Maybe a hearse chase would be good. With like a coffin in the back that falls out halfway through. That would just be, that'd be good. Let's see. What is the max penalty this bloke is facing in this state? Gordon, the charge is second-degree murder in Arizona in this case, this Michael Turney case. So it's probably, the max for that is going to be life in prison, probably without parole. Life without parole is probably the max he can face. A red pen should have a yellow courthouse this week. We're going to have to break out the party horns. I think we have the party horns somewhere. There it is. There's the party horn. A little preemptive, but soon. We'll watch for that, red pen. I think she wrote that letter long before, and he kept it. Ooh, there's an interesting idea. Nicole, I hadn't thought about that. Imagine when because apparently she had talked about running away, as I guess every teenage girl does, as we've heard. Everything that was brought up that she did that might look bad, whether it was cry about her relationship with her boyfriend, or break up and see somebody else briefly, or engage with the boyfriend. Everything that she said, everyone's basically said this is typical teenage behavior. And maybe I'm going to run away. I know everything. I'm going to, I'm sick of these rules. I'm going to go live my own life. Maybe that's a stage that many teenagers go through. My teenagers have not, thankfully, yet. But I don't have a female teenager yet. So, I like the retirement cake chase. I watched it many times. That was a good one as well. Hendersonville, North Carolina. Okay, that might be my closest. I'll have to ask Siri how to get there. Why does YouTube allow entire channels of police chases? Hypocrite, thy name is YouTube. Debbie, they do. There's other channels depend differently on revenue for different ways, and I'm not faulting people for how they choose to do things. I've said from the beginning, you just being here is enough, and just if I provide the content you want to watch, if that works with enough people, then it all works out and it's good. But some people don't do it for the money, or this isn't their full-time job, and they don't have to worry about monetization. An escape coffin. Hopefully nobody's in the coffin. That's my goal. An empty coffin in the back of a hearse in a police chase. The hearse opens, and there's got to be some drama with like the back doors swinging and everything, and you can see the hearse, the coffin in there, and then they try a pit maneuver, and out comes the coffin, and somebody hits the coffin. This is in my head. This is a chase that they should either choreograph or should happen soon. Dad snooped and found a pre-written note, hid it, and used it that day. That's possible. The dad had some law enforcement background, so we have to consider that as a possibility, that he knew how this would be investigated if she was missing, and what to do. But that alone is not evidence. So Let's see. If he kept that letter, that's diabolical. Also, isn't that letter like Mark Jensen's wife that got him a new trial? I'd say it's different because Mark Jensen's Mark Jensen's wife's letter. Mark Jensen was the antifreeze murder trial, for those that don't know, and he was a creep as well. But in that one, that letter was testifying against Mark. It was literally a letter from the grave saying, "If I am dead, it's because Mark committed murder. He killed me. Investigate him." This letter doesn't have that element. It doesn't have the, "If I'm gone, if you're finding this letter, it's because my dad killed me." That's not in there. It's saying I'm running away. So the content of the letter is not testifying against the defendant. So it's a little different that way. The Poifict police chase. Yes, it's going to involve a hearse. I can't believe it hasn't happened yet. We have to search YouTube and see if there's a hearse chase already. I feel like a coffin chase happened in a 30s gangster movie. They beat us to it. Maybe it can be reenacted with current vehicles. I'll tell you, there's a neighborhood in my neighborhood here. There's a hearse that drives by, and it's actually a hearse, a formal hearse, and the hood ornament is a skull. And then underneath the front, they have like a big chain, and I believe the license plate is some like "You are next" or something like that. It's you're next. It's a little bit dark humor. But it's a nice looking hearse. It's like a Cadillac style, baby blue, two-tone, with the white top. Grainers, you guys are begging for Cedric. Let me see what Cedric has going on here. Actually, I need to plug this in too. Actually, I can do it here. Let me see where he's at. He is live, and all I'm seeing is this right here. So it looks like he's in a break right now. We'll keep that going, and we might pop in here before we wrap up because we got a little bit of time. Alyssa letters in mod chat and in Discord. So that's her runaway letter. It's going to be over on Discord. Everybody pop over there. That would be a fantastic place to watch it. It's not a huge letter. It's not a big. There's not a lot to go on in there. What if she was planning on running away and he found the note and killed her? Yeah, I think Nicole had mentioned something similar to that idea. I would just have to say, Jamie, there's no evidence? No evidence? Nobody saw anything? There's no evidence that she's dead? We have nothing at all there's not even a drop of blood. And realizing Zachariah Anderson, there wasn't a lot of physical evidence, but there was at least evidence that the defendant was dead, the victim was dead. The blood, the amount of blood in the room, there was evidence there that showed that something bad had happened, something had gone wrong. But here, there's nothing. It's just she just disappears. How do you charge with murder just because you haven't seen someone in a while? Do we get a free membership for life if we go on a hearse rampage? Lizzie, here's the problem. I think that would actually break YouTube's terms of service because it would be encouraging you to break the law, and that's something I can't do. So it would be a free membership for life, but the life of the channel would be very short-lived. So no, we can't do that. Why kill her though? Why not just let her run if she was such a problem child? Ivan, this delves into some of the creep factor. If she ran and something had been going on, then then there's a risk of him being exposed as she's no longer in his control. The information might get out. She might talk, something like that. So that plays into it as to why he may have been involved in her disappearance. Let's see. I think we've given everyone sufficient time to run over to. Let's see. Run over to Discord. We might pull up the notes.
Where do I check in at?
Oh my goodness, that scared the daylights out of me. That's from Cedric's Court. I'm like, that's not a sound effect I've set up. What was that? Bum, bum, bum. Let's see. Sorry, mods, I apologize. Amber, thank you. I appreciate you doing that. Let me tell you what's happening. The mods are saying there are some words that are being brought up in chat that definitely cause problems with YouTube, the YouTube censor, and me bringing them up saying, "Hey, please don't use those words," also causes the same problem. So I'm in a catch-22 with don't use the word in chat that I'm thinking. Okay, so but we've got it resolved. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Where's the link to the check-in? I'm checking. Here it is. Okay. I've got it on my phone. This is the note. We'll bring it up here on my screen here. Just 1 second. Turn it sideways, full screen. We'll just snap that. Not like Snapchat, but snap that. Okay. Got to send it to my laptop. Just 1 minute. We're going to take a look at Alyssa's note before we stick with Judge Cedric's new case here, although their audio is on. Okay. There it is. Show in Finder. Man, it's taken forever. Okay, this is the notes. Let's cut to that really quickly. And I'll turn me off so you can see that here. So this is the note that they found in Alyssa's bedroom next to her cell phone, or with her cell phone, when she left. And it's clearly, I would say, the Sarah says this is definitely her handwriting, so it matches this style. She says, "Dad and Sarah, when you dropped me off at school today, I decided that I really am going to California. Sarah, you said you didn't want me around, and you got around. Look, you got it. I'm gone. That's why I saved my money. Dad, I took $300 from you, Alyssa." Okay. So the I's are not capitalized, but they are a little circle on the top each time. She was spelling got with 2 T's. She crossed out one of them. That's why I saved my money. But she did not take her money. She did not take her money with her. So this, I don't know. I'm not sure that it still has questions that are unanswered. Interesting little note. Are they curse words? No, they're not. They're specifically related to what people suspect either the father or the Jack in the Box manager. A classification of people, I guess you could say, a type of criminal that they would fall under. So they're related to that, and they're the underage and everything else. My native language in chat is beep. 80s Music Man. We depend on you often for that. Thank you very much. She had $1,800 to take. That could have gotten her quite a ways. 20 years ago, $1,800 could get you on it could get you to, from Arizona to California if she was going to California, which is where the dad at least says that she thinks she went. It's not a long trip. That could be enough to set up. $300 won't get you far, even 20 years ago, right? Why wouldn't she take her money? A lot of things she didn't take. He wrote it or make her sister write it, says Eva. So you're saying he made Sarah write it and she doesn't recall now? Right, she never touched the money. That's an issue. She never took her cell phone. What teenager, even back then, what teenager would be without their phone? Okay, why California? Okay. Let's see, what was Carol's question here? I missed it. All right. Judge Cedric is taking his time on this break, or clothing, or jewelry, and not connect with the friends. Not connect with the friends. She's literally, during the day, she's talked with the last friend that we just listened to, that said we had plans about, going to a party that night. She has a boyfriend that apparently they were, not broken up.
Who do I check in with?
Oops, sorry. It's not what we want, this one.
Just wait patiently. They're in recess right now. Thank you.
All the defendants who are off, whose cameras are off, are helping each other. Is the note going to be submitted? I believe it was already submitted as evidence because it was shown to the jury. It is a very strange missing person case. Some clothes were missing, not much. Not like I packed my bags and I'm out of here type thing. More like I took a change of clothes from the description we heard. Yeah, it does not add up. Yeah, she was close with her brothers and sisters. This is not like the witness protection program that she was entering. It sounds like she was trying to get away from her dad and the rules of the house that she didn't like. This is the girl who was in the pink robe and had the dog? This is our pink robe girl? Melinda Theed? So help me, if she takes a selfie right now. Is this really her? Mercedes? Is this the fuzzy bathrobe girl? Greener says yes, it is. Wow. Where are we at with her trial? I think we missed a couple of appearances for her because she did fall off the schedule with James and Cynthia. Initially, that's when we first saw her, was with James and Cynthia the first time. And she got married. Yeah, the judge congratulated her. That's the last time we heard, I think, was when they were getting married. Her jacket even says pink. Let me see this full screen. Yes, it does. It says pink. You're right. Okay, Tammy, sorry if you're lost. We've jumped in on Judge Cedric, this live stream we're watching. This is Judge Cedric Simpson's courtroom. He holds court over Zoom. They're generally small cases. They have to do with drugs, driving offenses, shoplifting, things like that. And the girl in the top right corner, when we first jumped in and first met James and Cynthia, who are an older couple that are accused of shoplifting together, she was with them on the same schedule. So as their court got continued, as things moved on, she kept appearing with them a couple times, and it's the interaction between her and Judge Cedric was interesting, and her appearance was obviously quite distinctive. And previously she appeared in a big, like a fluffy pink, it would be like a long-haired pink bathrobe. Imagine if in the Dr. Seuss movie, you know, those little fluffy trees that they keep cutting down to make, I forget what it was, theeds, I think they were. Imagine if her robe were made out of one of those trees. It's like cotton candy, fluffy. That's what she had on, the bathrobe. It was funny. So now we're super excited because we get to catch up with her. We have missed her for probably 2 months. It's been 2 months since we've heard. James and Cynthia, they got continued one more time. We're hoping we finally get, you know, some resolution there in their case. Where everyone who gets charged drop down to double parking fine. Yes. If the judge likes you, things go well. And look at the twirl. I think this is her nervous. This is like a nervous tick, the twirling the hair. Ryan, what details do you need to give us? Let's see. Let me see what Ryan was saying. Oh, you're going to the Turney tomorrow. Okay, hang on. We've got a call coming in right now. Just 1 second. Hello?
Danny from the Medicare Verification Department. How are you?
Oh, sorry. My phone cut out. Who is this?
Sir, I say, my name is Jerry and I'm calling the Department of Medicare. How are you?
Oh, yes. I'm doing well.
Yeah. Sir, basically this call is about your new Medicare health insurance card. In my record, it showed that you are still using your old preferred Medicare card, red, white, and blue one.
Well, the thing is, the old card, they say that I'm getting points when I use it. And I heard the new card does not have points.
Yeah, and you haven't received your new plastic card?
I got it, but I don't want to use it because the new card doesn't give me points when I swipe it. And I've been using it for everything, not just medical stuff. I use it for groceries. I actually rented a car using it. It's great because I don't have to pay anything. It's the best medical card I've ever had.
Okay, sir. Have a nice day. God bless you.
You too. Just know, never use a medical card for anything other than the medical expense. I'm not trying to endorse that. Yes, the burner phone just got a call. Apparently, I have I don't have Medicaid. I don't have a medical card. Oh man, we'll play with these guys as much as we can when they call. Medical card for groceries, rental car. I probably went too much. I was a little too over the top on that one. Definitely a scam. Definitely a scam. Okay, I think Judge Cedric might be coming back here soon. He usually starts about 7 minutes after the hour. We're at that right now. Patty Girl, welcome to the gallery again. Love to see that new color courthouse by your name. Thank you for your continual support. What is a medical card? I think it's a Medicaid card or a bill. I've got another call coming in. Hang on.
Call from
Ryan Applesnapple.
Hey, Ryan Applesnapple. How are you doing?
Hey. Good. I actually live in Arizona and I live in Phoenix, so I'm waiting to hear back from the judge's assistant to see if they're letting the public in.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there is some public seating. I don't know. Obviously, it's going to be back from where the camera is, so you're not going to be on camera because the only people we can see in the camera are media in front of the camera.
Right.
But I think I don't think it's like such a big case that there's no room. But let me know what you find out. I'd love to hear.
Certain judges in Maricopa County don't allow, like, I was just in a jury for like 3 weeks ago, and we didn't allow the public. It was a very small case, but public wasn't allowed in.
Okay, so I have a question about that. Did it involve children, SA,
no,
or
nothing sensitive? No, it was a drug case.
Did it involve?
It was a possession. It was a possession case. No children involved.
Or anything like that? Wow, and no public access.
Nope.
That's surprising. Okay, well,
yeah, no one would.
We need to vote that judge out. So that's all. Yeah, it would be awesome if they allow public in. I would love to hear, obviously, any observance you can see from the courtroom that we can't. So that's obviously open to the public. If you overhear something that we shouldn't hear, that's, we don't want to hear that. If you hear the lawyers conferring about each other, but anything you're allowed to listen to and can observe, as well as there's the responses of the jury. That I would love to get your take on that, Ryan. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I should hear back from her today because it's a female, but I should hear back from her today to find out if I can come tomorrow or not.
That would be awesome. Can you tell me on your case, did you end up convicting or?
We ended up guilty on all counts. There was a count of possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, which was oil, and then resisting arrest. We did all 3 counts guilty, but both the prosecuting and the defense were wanting court-appointed rehab.
Okay. I'm guessing this was not a first offense for the
defense. It was the first offense. We never had a traffic ticket.
Wow. That's awesome. Judge Cedric just popped up. Ryan, that is super exciting. I would love to hear from you. Keep me updated, even if it's just a text to the burner phone as you find out. Awesome. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, we'll see you, everybody.
Mr. Lewis. Crystal,
that's
can
awesome.
You please unmute, state your full name for the record. Crystal, can you hear us?
Chief, let
me try
Mr. Lewis.
Hello.
This is so bad.
Ms. Lewis, can you hear us?
Yes. What's the value? Okay, well, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Unmute it. Oh, God, they're going to kick me out.
Okay,
Come on,
Ms. Lewis. I don't know what you're doing, but...
Yes.
But stop doing it, whatever it is.
Ms. Lewis? Okay. Mr. Bubasi, I'm going to pass the matter. You're going to have to call her or something, because I can't. There's no way I can do anything until...
The problem
all right, thank you.
The number that we have on ED does not work.
Court calls the case, People versus Aaron Lott.
The phone number, he's trying to say the phone number doesn't work.
Assistant Public Defender Cosimo Basi on behalf of Aaron Lott. Mr. Lott, if you're there, can you please unmute, state your full name for the record. Mr. Lott?
Aaron.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Aaron Lott, can you state your full name for the record?
Aaron Leon Lott Jr.
I'm going to make me a little smaller here.
Yes, Your Honor. Today is the date and time set for sentencing. At this time, we have received the recommendation from probation, and we have no corrections, additions, or deletions to make, Your Honor.
Mr. Lott, anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No, sir.
Sentence of the court, 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $480 fines and court costs, $125 probation oversight fees. When can you pay that?
Your Honor, he can pay $100 a month, starting at the end of this month, if possible.
That's some great hair.
Do you have anything today?
No, sir.
Payment plan that's arranged by probation.
Huh?
Huh?
There should be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal drug. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a theft class. You're to do that within the next 60 days. You are to complete 25 hours of community service with proof to probation. No going to a Numari store in the state of Michigan. I'll set a review hearing November 8th, 2023, 9 a.m. I'll order 90 days in jail. That is suspended. Thank you.
Thank you.
Court calls the case. People versus Adria McLean.
Hello?
Assistant Public Defender Cosimo Basi on behalf of Andrea McLean. Ms. McLean, can you please state your full name for the record?
Andrea P. McLean.
Yes, Your Honor. Today is the date and time set for sentencing. We have received the PSI report, and we have no additions, deletions, or corrections at this time.
Mr. McLean, anything you want to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
It is the sentence of the court. I'll place you on 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $480 fines and court costs, $120 probation oversight fees. When can you get that paid?
She can pay $100 today, Your Honor, and then a payment plan as arranged by probation for $100 a month.
Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Sounds like we're just getting sentencing today.
$100 today, then a payment plan.
How do I
as
pay
arranged
it?
You can pay it online. They should have the file updated later today, and then you can pay it online that way, or you can come down to the court. Either way you want to do that. Okay?
Right, Your Honor. Yes.
There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a theft class within the next 60 days. No going to any Walmart store in the state of Michigan. I'll set a review hearing November 8th, 2023 at 9 a.m. I'll order 90 days in jail suspended. Thank
Your
you.
Honor, thank you.
In front of the Walmart.
Walmart is featured.
Court calls the case of the people versus. Really? They need to. They're printing better here. Janae Miller.
He's going alphabetically, I think.
Crossing the base on behalf of Janae Miller, Your Honor. Janae
Hello.
Miller,
Yes,
please state your full name for the record.
Janae Miller.
Ms. Miller, did you get the report that I sent you by email?
You didn't send her one because she didn't do her PSI. What's the reason you didn't show up on June 20th for your pre-sentence investigation appointment?
They didn't tell me anything about it. I wasn't notified of it.
I also sent you by email the recommendation for today. I don't know if you were able to view that or not.
And true support.
Go ahead, Mr.
Clear on behalf of probation. I just want to state, Miss Miller was put into a breakout room. She was given the appointment date. She was sent the email to complete that. I can tell you when I attempted to call her about the PSI, I'm not even able to leave a voicemail on the phone number that she's provided to our office.
So she went into probation intake.
Yes, on the day that she was referred, she was put into a breakout room and was given her appointment date and time then.
So that's when you were told about it, Miss Miller.
Yes.
Yeah, so that probably wasn't a real good answer you gave. And I knew it wouldn't be. We refer the defendant to probation for a pre-sentence investigation and report, and you better make the appointment I'm about to give you. So you better have something to write it down. You are to pay a $75 re-referral fee. You are to pay that today. Her new PSI appointment, July 20th, 2023, 10 a.m., in person. Her sentence is adjourned August 9th, 2023, 9 a.m. You better make this one.
You better.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll make sure that she makes it.
Court calls the case. People versus Cameron Reeves.
Assistant Public Defender Qasim Lobesi on behalf of Cameron Reeves. Mr. Reeves, will you please state your full name for the record?
Mr. Reeves is not present, and
when you don't show up for
he
sentencing,
didn't make his either.
Let's go ahead and just bench warrant.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear on $5,000. I'll give a 10% privilege. That warrant will issue immediately.
Guys, when it comes to court, showing up is half the battle. It doesn't take much in this court. I realize.
Calls case. People versus LaDonna Robinson.
Defender Qasim Lobesi on behalf of LaDonna Robinson. Ms. Robinson, if you're there, could you please state your full name for the record?
No. LaDonna Robinson. LaDonna Robinson.
Your Honor, could we briefly pass the matter? I had been in touch with her up until yesterday. I'm not sure.
Bench warrant. They need to be here. Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear. Bound $5,000.
Judge Simpson's not messing around today.
Privilege. That warrant will issue immediately.
This public defender is
Call
not
the case, People versus Jeremiah Stanley.
Hey, Jeremiah.
The public defender, Carson Bobese, on behalf of Jeremiah Stanley.
Mr. Stanley, can you state your name, please?
Jeremiah James Allen Stanley.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, today is the date and time for his sentencing. He has received the PSI report, and we have no additions, deletions, or corrections to make at this time.
Anything either of you want to say before I do impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Stanley, anything you want to tell me?
No.
Okay. Sentence of the court. Place you on 9-month prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $655 fines and court costs, $270 probation oversight fees. When can you pay that?
I would like to do a payment plan. $100.
What do you have today?
I don't have anything today.
Payment plan as arranged by probation. There should be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You're to attend outpatient therapy with proof to probation. There's to be no assaultive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You are not to possess any weapons, firearms, ammunition, or anything fashioned to be a weapon. You're to maintain employment with verification to probation. You are to submit your fingerprints within the next 30 days. I will set a review hearing April 10th, 2024, 1 p.m. I'll order 365 days in jail. That is suspended.
That's a more serious.
Thank you.
Is there a possibility of having a hearing sooner than that if I get everything completed?
You can talk to probation about that if early release on that is possible.
Okay.
You've got everything completed, but all right, there's a mechanism that you can go through.
Okay.
Thank you. Court calls the case of the People versus Melinda Thied.
Here she is.
Assistant Public Defender Carson Bobese on behalf of Melinda Thied. Ms. Thied, can you please state your full name for the record?
Melinda Sue Thiedy.
Your Honor, today is the date and time for sentencing, Your Honor. At this time, we have received the report from probation, and we have no additions, corrections, or deletions to make.
Ma'am, is there anything you want to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No.
All right. Sentence of the court. 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $555 fines and court costs, $120 probation oversight fees. There is to be no use of any. Well, when can you make those payments?
She can pay $150 today, Your Honor, and then payment plans of $100 a month until.
You can pay $150 today.
Yes.
Pay $150 today. Balance as arranged by probation.
This is probably what James and Cedric are going to get. Similar, yeah, 165.
There should be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You're to complete a theft class. You're to do that within the next 60 days. You're to complete 25 hours of community service with proof to probation. There is no going to any Meijer store in the state of Michigan. I'll set a review hearing. That's to be held November 8th, 2023 at 9 a.m. I will order 365 days in jail. That is suspended. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. I wanted to say also, my husband said we could pay all the fines by early August after what I pay today.
Okay, that's fine.
So you can get it all paid by early August?
Yeah.
You believe him?
Yes.
You do? Okay. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Said he wants to do that for me and them both.
Okay. I don't know. He may be telling you can pay it, then you don't, and then next thing you know, you're the one in trouble. But if you believe him, I'll believe him. So
Okay.
150 today, the balance by August 18th. How's that work?
Well, that's fine.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now Judge is in a good mood.
Court calls the case. The People versus Mario. Is it Thuriani?
Public Defender Carson Bobese on behalf of Mario Triani, Your Honor.
Mario Thuriani. No response.
I had been unable to reach him. I tried reaching out multiple occasions.
Bench warrant.
Bench warrant will issue for
no good.
Bench warrant will issue for defendant's failure to appear.
Yes, Ivan, you're right.
Will be set in the amount of $5,000. I'll give a 10% privilege. That warrant will issue immediately.
The only thing that did is force her to pay it sooner. And now if for something comes up she can't pay sooner, she's going to be in trouble for it.
Yeah.
Even though she's ahead of the schedule.
Recalls the case, People versus Crystal Lewis.
The public defender, Qasim Obasi, on behalf of Crystal Lewis.
You think she's a dial-in now?
919.
Oh, it's all on my screen. All right, Miss Lewis, you called in after you.
Hello.
Oh no, there she is.
Oh, she's in
iPhone.
bed with.
Sorry, I was having problems with the iPad I was on.
That's all right. All right. Have you read over your pre-sentence report, and are there any material deletions, corrections, or additions?
I read it over, yes.
Okay. Any corrections on that?
No, none at this time, Your Honor.
Anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Do you want to tell me anything?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
Sentence of the court: 4 months prosecutor deferred sentence. You're to pay $555 fines and court costs, $120 probation oversight fees. When can you pay that?
Can I be on a payment plan or something? I don't have money for
How much do you have today?
nothing.
Payment plan is arranged by probation. There's to be no use of alcohol, recreational marijuana, or any illegal substance. You'll be subject to random testing as requested by probation. You are to complete a theft class within the next 60 days. You are to complete 25 hours of community service with proof to probation. There is no going to any Meijer store in the state of Michigan. I will set a review hearing that is to be held November 8th, 2023, 9 a.m. I will order 365 days in jail. That is suspended. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
That's all for that one.
All right. Court's in recess till our next block at noon.
See you then.
All right, that's the end. That's the end of the judge here. So it is 11:30 right now. We're expecting about 1:30. Yes, this is Random Cases. We like to pop in on Judge Cedric Simpson. His court is fantastic, and occasionally we make a friend and get to follow it through. Sorry, this is the new guys that are just lining up for the next batch, but it'll be probably half an hour before that starts. You're welcome, Greeners. Thanks for the suggestion. We right now we are caught up with the Michael Turney case. It is 8:30 a.m. You're right, Ryan Apple-Staple. 8:30 a.m. in Phoenix, and as you know, because you're there, and they don't start till 10:30 Phoenix time. So we have 2 hours before they start court, and so we're going to pick that up live once they start, and we'll watch the first half of the day live, and then because they go so late in the day, because of the time zone, 3 hours different, the long lunch, everything else, we'll catch up after the fact. So we have something to watch tomorrow morning when we normally would have a gap with no trial. That way it just works better for everybody, at least for me. And that's why we're doing it. Got some tough looking folks today. Sentencing today is what today's his sentencing day. So he's using the band hammer and just coming down on people. James and Cynthia appear in that court on August 2nd. Keep me appraised of that while I watch. I appreciate that. I'll probably forget, and I'll need a reminder. I think I saw Walmart on Brittany's TV. How did you find this? There are a lot of judges who live stream their court, and realize when the pandemic, when the big shutdown happened, a lot of courts panicked. What do? We can't just stop the system. The cases have to progress. You've got a right to a speedy trial, and so they developed this way of we can remotely handle things. And a lot of trials, even though there's no longer a need to be remote, they said, hey, this is working. Why don't we do this all the time? And Judge Cedric is one of those. So we have this remote court. It lowers the cost a great deal. It makes it quicker. It's just fast. They're able to get a lot more done, and it's entertaining, and it's open to the public. It checks all the boxes. Some judges not quite so keen on being watched all the time by us, and some judges are live stream, but then are very protective of the live stream, saying, yes, I can show it to the public, but no one else can re-show this to the public, which, you get like Judge Manning is one of those where she's got a big, huge do not record type sign on it. I'll just say this: subject matter jurisdiction. Anyway, yes, this is Judge Cedric's YouTube channel. He's on pretty much every day. He's doing something in court almost every day. Didn't realize he still live streamed everything. It's only some courts. Some went back to just fully in person and don't live stream. Other courts have sort of adopted it as their way to go. RA has a court Rolodex and a wheel of fortune. Is today the hearing for Sarah Boone? Michelle, it was yesterday. And here's what happened. It was very quick. It was like less than 4 minutes. Okay. The judge showed up. It was via Zoom. Sarah Boone had waived her appearance, I believe, through her attorney. I'm not sure if she's going to agree that she did that or not. But she was not present. The judge said, where are we at? They said, we're having trouble getting our expert witness paid through the system. The expert witness wants, I believe, more money than the system wants to pay for an expert witness. So as long as they can get that sorted out, the expert witness will not give them the report from their analysis until they get paid, which is just a smart move. If you don't sign off, you don't give them everything, you don't give the customer all the goods before they pay for them. So if they can get that paid, then the defense gets the report, the prosecution then gets the report. Prosecution is going to need time to review the report, figure out what it is, find their own expert, and get alternate reports from them. That's not going to happen the weekend between the 21st and the 24th. And the 21st is when they have the next hearing. They've scheduled an additional hearing Friday the 21st. That was going to be the business day before trial starts on July 24th. This case is going to push. It cannot stay on schedule, especially with an expert witness. If they had said we still can't find an expert witness, and the judge said that's fine, you're going ahead anyway. I'm not going to let you drag this out anymore. You go to trial with whatever case you have. Sometimes you don't get the case the defense you want. Then we might be on schedule. But because there is an expert witness, they have done the work. I think it's going to be pushed. The common idea, as everyone's talked it over, is that it'll be happen in September. But also during that, the judge informed both sides that, guess what? He got a letter from his pen pal Sarah Boone, in jail. She wrote another letter to him, and we're waiting for that. We're watching right now. I'm on the court page, watching and refreshing constantly to see when that letter gets posted. It has not posted yet. When it does, we'll go live with it. Anyway, so that's where we are on that one. I think we're good. Are we coming back after lunch? Yes, we are, and we'll be live out of Arizona with that trial then. She wasn't there. Sounds like it's a ways off now. Yes, the judge even mentioned. The judge brought up. He's like, she said she wants to be here, and so she I believe she will be there on the 21st, on Friday the 21st. Let's see. The letter's going to be good. We're waiting with bated breath. I have a screen set up right here. Look at this. This screen. All I have to do is click the done button, and it will put the placeholder in place for the video for the Sarah Boone letter, the new letter. I've got the thumbnail made. It's ready to go. We have everything. The details are there. We're ready to go live the second it drops. I'd like to be the first person with it. It would be a lot of fun to watch that with you, without any of us have seen it before. Me reading it for the first time live on air. It's going to be great. What time are we coming back after lunch? We've got 2 hours. So we have a 2-hour lunch, and then Arizona starts their day. These schedules need to go in my calendar. The calendar gets bigger and bigger. Discord becomes more and more useful for that, by the way. They have a great calendar system over there. All right. I think, let's see. Amber says we're only 30 minutes away from 30 members away from 900 on Discord. That's awesome. We wanted to hit 1900, sorry, on Discord. If you have not been over there, now's a great time to pop over and check it out. It's really good. Lots of information. A lot of the questions you ask me, the answers can be found on Discord for every trial, no matter what it is. Even if it's ones we don't cover, like, say, business. If you've got questions where you want to talk about the case, Discord is the place to do that. You can go over there and find other people who have other questions or have, information about that, and you'll love it. You will absolutely love it. I have to accomplish something this week other than this, says Rudy Patootie. No, you don't. No, just kidding. Yeah, take care of what's important. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. I realize Judge Cedric has another case coming up. We have another close-up of an ear I wanted to share with you just briefly. Looks like sitting on the front porch. And just getting ready for a sentencing. But is Discord a separate app? It's like a tool. It's going to be a website / app. It is an app on the phone. But yes, it's the link. If you click the link, if you type !Discord in chat, this link pulls up on the screen. You click the link in chat and it will pop you over there. You have to sign up for it. It's free. But just know that all the work that goes into Discord is real. It does take time and it costs time and sometimes money to get the documents and everything else put together. So if you love what you find over there in Discord, what do they call it? Boosting the channel would be very beneficial for them. It would allow them to continue to provide the storage for all the documents that we want to have over there and that we depend on, as well as some of the other features like live chat, things like that are a lot of fun. So consider doing that. It is a little confusing to start with, but I would say hang in there. Pop over there, figure out how to talk to someone. If you can't figure it out, pop over here and say, can somebody walk me through this? We'll be able to get somebody back over there. Expert in Boone trial wants a lot of money to not tell the truth, in my opinion, says Jenny. Yeah, they're basically looking at their career saying, okay, when I do this, it's over. This will be the last time I'm ever hired by anyone and be taken seriously. So you've got to make it worth my while. You're going to have to add an extra zero to that check because this is my retirement. This is all I get from here on out. It's just going to be writing books and people laughing at me. But yeah, are there tips on how to use? There are, Red Sky, and also when you go over there, there are places you can go that will walk you through it and explain it. I think we even have some videos. There are videos out there as well of how to use it. I think they were up on our Facebook channel. I forget where they are. Post a comment with the moderator and they can help over there. The moderators are great. A lot of the same moderators we have here are moderators over there. And a lot of the same people you see here in chat are over there, maybe by a different name. But you'll get to know them a little bit over there as well. Not exactly a boon to their career, Adam. Spot on. Perfect timing as well. Impeccable. Adam, I was listening to, as we were driving back and forth, I was listening to Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is an NPR, sort of like a comedy show based around the news, loosely around the news, and a little bit of improv. If I ever did that, I would want you as one of the guests permanently on the show, Adam, just for your timing, for your sense of the comedic value and just how quick you're able to connect those dots to make a funny response. If we ever do that, so we get Thomas, we'd get you, possibly a couple other people, but Red Pen also just spot on with timing and jokes and things like that. So maybe one day we'll make that happen. I love that format, by the way, the Wait, Don't Tell Me format. Some of the games they play there, I'd like to incorporate versions of that game on my channel. Adam says, count me in. Sign me up. I'll do it. All right. I'm taking that as a signed statement from you, a legal statement. You're on board. All right, we're gonna wrap things up here. We have lunch to go to. I am very small in the corner. I just realized that. That's not a problem, but I just can't see myself. There we go. I loved Would You Rather last week. Would You Rather was a lot of fun on the podcast channel, on our podcast. Thomas does a fantastic job. If you guys only knew the percentage of work that goes into the podcast, first of all, there's a lot. And the percentage that is handled by Thomas is, mine starts with a decimal. So when you read my percentage, it reads more like a blood alcohol content type readout. And you read read Matthew's, or you read Thomas's percentage. I was thinking of the interview he did with Matthew, but you read the percentage that Thomas reads, and it reads more like a DNA probability statistic. So that's basically how the podcast workload is balanced, which is not at all. All right. Let's go to lunch, right? We've done everything else. We've listened to Walmart. We've heard
In front of the Walmart.
We've heard that, all that. Now it's just time to play the music and go to lunch. Let's see. It's Wednesday, so a day early for the Matthew Harris video, but keep an eye on that tomorrow around lunchtime. I think that's going to drop. There's going to be a new video from him if he keeps with his current schedule, which I think he will. Always good stuff. Happy lunching, everyone. You as well. Hope you have something delicious. Hope you have spiced maple bourbon pickles. I haven't mentioned those recently, but they're still just as good as they ever were. So I'm a huge fan of those still. Spiced maple bourbon pickles, available at your local Walmart on the top shelf where they belong. As the saying goes, if you're going through something, this too shall pass. It might pass like a kidney stone, but it will pass. Oh, Jenny. Ouch. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe till we go live again. 1:30 Eastern time is the time. We're going to come back with court. Michael Turney being charged second-degree murder in the disappearance of his daughter 20 years ago. 2001, actually more than 20 years ago. We're going to pick up live with that trial there, as that's going to be kicking off out of Arizona. Can't wait for that. We'll see you guys after lunch. Have a great one. Bye.
Bring the jury.